In this video, I'll be comparing three AI animation tools for architecture and landscape design, side by side. We'll evaluate them based on three key aspects. Accuracy. Can the AI truly generate motion that matches the prompt description? Value for money. Are these tools really worth the price you pay? Customization. How much control do you have over camera angles, lighting, materials, and more? Let's get into it and see which tool comes out on top. First up, let's take a look at Kling AI. I've used this tool to create several animations, especially diagram-style animations, and they turned out pretty cool. Let me show you how it works. I'm using the video generation panel, specifically the image-to-video feature. First, I drag in an image and describe it with a prompt. Then, I click the Inspiration and Present buttons. I really like this part. It makes setting up the camera motion super intuitive, especially for users who don't have a background in film or animation. For this test, I selected a zoom-in camera effect and hit Generate. It took about 40 seconds to produce a 5-second video. I'm currently using the Pro plan, but I'll break down the pricing and plan options a bit later in the video. The generation process took longer than I expected. And honestly, the result looked more like a PowerPoint animation. Very flat and not dynamic at all. I tried switching the camera motion to a rotation around the building, hoping for a better effect. But the outcome still wasn't what I was aiming for. I tested a few more camera settings but eventually decided to give up on that image. Each time it generates a 5-second video, it uses 20 credits, which adds up fast. That means a lot of credits can be wasted just experimenting. Next, I tried using a more 3D-style diagram image. This time, I used Kling's built-in DeepSeek AI to generate a prompt based on the image itself. Then, I set up the camera again and gave it another shot. This time, I waited about 4 minutes, even though I'm supposed to have high-speed video generation. Maybe the server was just busy, or a lot of people were using it at the same time. That said, the result actually turned out pretty cool. The interior lights were changing, and it added a nice sense of depth. Now I'll try setting the camera to rotate around the subject to see if it handles motion better in this case. The result this time was actually really impressive. The motion felt smooth, the lighting changed dynamically, and it added a lot more depth to the scene. It even generated sound for the video, which was a surprise. Though to be honest, the sound wasn't very useful. But still, it shows how the tool is trying to create a more immersive experience. Now let's take a look at the pricing. Kling offers a free plan, which lets you try around 3 videos. But in my experience, each video took over 3 hours to generate. When I first started, I purchased 660 credits. Each 5-second video costs 20 credits. So in theory, that gives you up to 33 videos. But here's the issue. Not all the videos turned out the way I wanted. Some had motion or camera paths that just didn't match my prompt. So, out of those 660 credits, I only ended up with about 5 videos I actually liked and could use. That's why I decided to upgrade to the Pro plan, which gives you 3,000 credits per month for $32.65 USD. That breaks down to about 22 cents per 5-second video, assuming every video turns out well, which again, isn't always the case. Here are some of my past attempts with Kling. A few turned out fine, but others didn't work at all. One common issue I noticed is that some videos would randomly generate unrelated scenes. For example, I'd upload a clean diagram or drawing, and by the end of the video, it suddenly turns into a real-life architectural scene that makes no sense in context. I've included a few of these past tries here so you can see what I mean. But despite the trial and error, after enough experimenting, I was able to get a few good results that I'm happy with. Some of the videos came out pretty good, but honestly, the prompt factors aren't always obvious. What works and what doesn't can be hard to predict. If you want to see what worked for me, you can check the prompts I used. They're shown in the top left corner of each video. If you take a look at the prompts I used, some are super basic. A few I even left blank, and others were generated using DeepSeek. So honestly, I don't think the prompt itself plays a huge role in the final result. From my experience, the image you input is the biggest factor. For example, when I used more realistic images, the results were generally solid, but when I uploaded 3D diagrams, the tool sometimes got confused and produced weird or unrelated content. And with things like sketches or section drawings, the AI seems to struggle with understanding the context, which leads to less accurate animations. All right, to wrap things up. Overall, I think Kling is fine. Yes, I did waste quite a few credits on failed attempts, but with enough trial and error, it gave me a few solid animations. Here's how I'd rate it. Accuracy, 2 out of 5. Sometimes the results just don't match the prompt or image, especially with diagrams. Value for money, 3 out of 5. The pricing is fair, but with so many misfires, it doesn't always feel worth it. Customization, 5 out of 5. This is where Kling shines. Camera angles, zoom, rotation. It's super easy to control, even for beginners. Next up is Midjourney. And yes, Midjourney just released its video feature, and I have to say, it's impressive. This is a big step forward for the platform, and I was honestly surprised by how smooth and cinematic some of the results turned out. Let me show you how it works, and what kind of animations you can create with it. It's also super easy to use. The video feature is built right into the same webpage as image generation, so there's no need to switch platforms or tools. I really like that. It keeps everything organized in one place, and it's easy to sort through both your images and video outputs without any confusion. You can either generate a new image or use any previously created one. Just click on the image, and you'll see an animate image option below. From there, you can choose between low motion and high motion settings, or simply click Auto Motion, which is what I usually do. No prompt is needed. It automatically generates 4 video variations, each with slightly different camera movements. And honestly, all of them looked great. The motion feels creative and dynamic, without drifting into weird or unrelated content, which I really appreciate. You also have the option to manually generate animations by adding a prompt, where you can describe the motion or specific details you want to include based on the image. Just like the auto mode, it still generates 4 video variations per action, so you get a nice range to choose from. It's a great balance. You can go fully automatic for quick results, or take more control with custom prompts when needed. but I noticed it doesn't fully follow the camera settings I describe in the prompt. Even when I try to guide the motion, like asking for a slow pan or specific zoom, the result still feels a bit randomized. Midjourney performs exceptionally well when it comes to realistic renderings. No surprise, since that's already one of its biggest strengths in image generation. I especially love how plants gently sway in the landscape animation. It adds a nice layer of realism and atmosphere. Even diagram animations look good most of the time. Out of the 4 variations it generates, usually 2 or 3 are spot on. Occasionally, one might feel a bit off, but the multiple options make it easy to pick the best one. Here's a quick comparison between low motion and high motion settings. High motion, on the other hand, gives you bigger camera movements and more dramatic animation, but it can sometimes result in unrealistic or glitchy effects. Low motion, which is the default, tends to produce still scenes with slow camera movement and subtle character or object motion. It's great when you want a calm, cinematic feel. So, depending on your project, you'll want to pick the one that fits your style and risk tolerance. Just like other AI tools, you can upload your own image to Midjourney, add a prompt, and it'll generate a video based on that image. The results are stunning, and it definitely saves a ton of time compared to traditional rendering workflows. Each set of 4 videos took me around 50 seconds to a minute to generate. Now let's talk about pricing. You can get started for just $10 a month, which includes a set amount of GPU time. Each second of video uses about the same GPU cost as generating one image, so a 5-second video is roughly equal to 5 image credits. If you're producing a lot of content, the $60 Pro plan gives you unlimited video generation in relax mode, which is perfect if you're not in a rush and want to explore freely. So overall, I'd give Midjourney a solid 4 to 5 stars. It's very easy to use, and the percentage of high-quality video outputs is impressively high, even without much tweaking. For accuracy, I'd rate it 4 stars. The motion and content mostly align with the image, though it doesn't always follow custom camera prompts exactly. In terms of value for money, I'd also give it 4 stars, especially for basic or standard users. The price is reasonable, and you get a lot of creative output without needing heavy rendering setups. As for customization, I didn't go deep into those features in this video, but it does offer some great tools. I'll take a closer look in an upcoming episode, so make sure you hit subscribe if you want to dive deeper with me into Midjourney's animation features. By the way, all the images you've seen in these videos were generated with Midjourney. If you want to learn how to create high-quality, accurate images for architecture, landscape, and interior design, check out my prompt guidebook and Midjourney course. They're designed to save you time and help you get consistently professional results, without the endless trial and error. You can find the prompt guidebook and Midjourney course linked in the video description below. The third tool we're looking at is Runway, currently one of the most popular AI video generation tools out there. It's particularly well suited for realistic renderings, and it can produce some impressive cinematic effects. However, when it comes to 3D diagrams or schematic-style animations, it tends to struggle. The results often feel off or disconnected from the input. It also takes quite a long time to generate a single video, even though I'm using the standard plan. Just like in the Kling AI section, I'll walk you through some of the videos I generated using Runway, so you can see for yourself how many turned out well and how many didn't. One of the good things about Runway is that it offers a lot of control over your scenes and camera movements, definitely more advanced than some other tools. If you're aiming to create realistic videos, there's a feature called Act 1 that helps maintain consistent characters across clips, which is pretty impressive. However, the downside is that it doesn't handle consistent architecture very well. So if you're trying to animate buildings or detailed design diagrams, the results can feel unstable or disconnected from your original concept.
That's my tool.
As I mentioned earlier, Runway performs much better with realistic visuals than with diagrams or sketches. Now let's take a quick look at the pricing. And honestly, it's the most expensive of the three tools I've tested. With the standard plan, you can generate up to 52 seconds of video, which works out to roughly 10 5-second clips. For the price, that feels way overpriced to me, especially considering the inconsistent results when working with architectural diagrams or conceptual visuals. Overall, I'd give Runway 2 stars. When it comes to accuracy, it really depends on the input. For realistic visuals, I'd say it performs quite well, around 4 stars. But for sketches, diagrams, or section drawings, it often fails to deliver. So that's more like 1 star. In terms of value for money, I give it 1 star. For what you get on the standard plan, it's just too expensive compared to the other tools. But on the bright side, customization is strong. I'll give it 4 stars for the advanced camera and scene controls. So while it has potential, especially for cinematic storytelling, it might not be the best fit for architectural or landscape diagram animations. So to wrap things up, each of these AI tools has its own strengths and weaknesses. Kling AI offers great camera control but struggles with consistency. Midjourney's new video feature is easy to use, visually stunning, and delivers the highest rate of usable results. And Runway, while powerful for cinematic and realistic content, comes with a higher price tag and isn't ideal for architectural diagrams. If you're looking to speed up your design workflow, especially for presentations or concept visuals, AI animation is definitely worth exploring. Don't forget, if you want to learn how to create high-quality visuals with Midjourney, check out my prompt guidebook and Midjourney course. Links are in the description. If you found this helpful, give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more tutorials on AI tools for architecture and landscape design. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.